Revealing the first writer's hidden formats in Exodus. This will be part one. And what I want to tell you is that in Exodus, it is a lot of things are out of order. So we don't have a book that's written in order. There are other books that we'll be able to put and mesh together to make a complete story. You've seen me do that in the four books: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Now, uh, what I do want to say is there's a lot of things that we need to go over in this one and to be explained to say what is actually truthful. So, what I have here, I wanted to point out that I fixed my camera finally. um, that the reasons I've added another one. And just like here, these are not needed. We already know who they are. So does not need to be repeated. Now, Exodus starts out with a new king over Egypt, and he did not know of Joseph. And he told his people, the sons from Israel could become, not that they were more, but they could become an army. Because down here it's talking about joining those who hate us and then fight against us. Well, it's to battle against us. But the object here is I'm cleaning up the text to where when I'm using example, a yellow word here where I put a forward slash, this means I'm replacing this word here with this word. Okay. And it's to say that there should have been a better word here. Now, I'm borrowing the word from over here, okay? So, to read it correctly, greatly multiplied, well, multiplied greatly is the way we'd say it today, so that's why it's arranged this way. This does not follow the proper English, so I've told you about that, so don't expect proper English in the text when I'm editing. This text was before English, okay? Now, I'm having to add the word become here to complete the verse and make it understandable. Are more, and I had to add the word could as well. Because it was saying they are more mightier than we, but that's not really true because a king can't really say, because he's going to make them their slaves, so they can't be mightier than they. So it has to be uh, logically or reasonably said they could become an army to go with the rest of the story here, and they could join with those who are battling with us. Fight and battle, I believe, are so close to the word. So what I want to do, and I did finally get um, the text here uh, together, or the images for this here program to pop up. And what I want to do is I want to click on the word fight here and over here, warring, ward, wage war, war. See, to fight, it's really meaning to battle. So I'm using the word battle, and I believe that with this green here is close enough to this word that I don't really need to explain a lot of them as I go forward. So I'll be skipping over these type of green colored words and then continuing to explain what I'm doing with the rest of the text here. As you know, they would have known Pharaoh's name, and I've told you before, those that are editing the text, probably since about the last king of Israel or of Judah, um, they have been re-editing the text to get rid of our creator in the text. That's why his name is not in the text even today. Those in 1611 removed his name. So, but they would have known the king's name. So there would have been a place that the text would have said his name, I think 33 times. And, the word Pharaoh is a Greek word, and the Greeks didn't actually exist until like the city itself, the beginning of it, didn't exist until like 700 years before Jesus, maybe even to the sixth before they really were established as a major city. Um, and they were hard labor making bricks. This word doesn't need to be there. Um, and working in the sun, not in the field. It was working in the sun. Okay, as anybody who knows that you work out in the sun during the summer, um, if you do this all day, that becomes part of the word's hard labor. Making bricks, that was heavy and laborious. Um, and then it was they were working in the sun. So the word field is completely wrong. When the king, he doesn't speak, he commands. So he commanded our midwives, and they were to kill their sons. And I got put to cause. Now, should I had left that the yellow instead of green? Um, I guess for this video, I'm going to point out that yes, I'm going to make it yellow now, just to explain that to put and cause are pretty much. Let's see if that's what's going to happen. I mean, let me bring the text up here and let me see if I can find the word put. No, it's 16. I'm reading down too far. Okay, right next to where I've been putting text. And over here, caused. Okay. So the word caused is in here, but it is not down through any of these other ones. But now you know, yes, I guess I should have left it more of a yellow text. But I didn't go through and check all the wording this way. So, anyways, and not put them to death, but for them to die. Um, Now here in the other videos, I have placed what the Hebrew word is here. I'm going to do that in the next video when I clean it up, because I found that I didn't need to go through and edit these words. It just seems like I was over editing and doing a little bit too much work. So that's what's going to happen throughout the rest of the videos I do. To cast is to throw into the Nile. No, you're not going to cast. To throw the children into, or sons into the Nile. They are not to keep them. This would have been, you're supposed to keep every daughter alive. That isn't necessary to be said here. Then we're having the marriage happen here, and Moses is going to be born here, and she birthed a son, not bore, but birthed. And she could not hide him no longer. See, I'm using the word here no longer. I'm just going to put the word not hide him here. So should I put that as yellow and yellow? Yes, because this is going to be a major word. I forgot that. Yes, this would be the major word in there. These two words I'm going to use to complete the sentence or the verse. Put him in a wicker. Well, put him in a basket. And then the daughter of the king. Now, later, we're going to find out there's going to be a spot where you'll find that they would have had her name here. So I will, I just wanted to let you know that now. And it was the basket that they brought to her, not just an it, brought it. I needed the word basket. And it wasn't a child. We know it was a boy. So it's not a child, it's a boy. And it was a Hebrew son, not children, Hebrew's children. This is more than one. So this text is absolutely stupid. Um, like I said, the writers are deceiving you to write um, for their God, just as Jesus says in, I think it's Luke. Shall I call? Whoops, that should have been bring nurse, a nurser. I'm inventing a word, I think, maybe here, but they didn't have a large vocabulary or vocabulary. I mean, yes, I guess that's what I'm saying. Um, I guess when people looked at all the Hebrew words, there's only like 20,000, where today we normally use over 60,000. We have many words for the word how the weather is when it's raining. So the text is going to just be raining hard or raining lightly here by the Hebrews. It wasn't his girl, it was his sister. So the girl, we know the girl is his sister, so it's put in as sister. To make the text first person, I needed to do this. So a lot of times you'll see I'll be changing the word they to we or us, and told her, and give you your wages. Well, it's actually money. So I'll give you money. I prefer this type of word here than the word wages, because you wouldn't set a wage for nursers. Nursers didn't have a wage. Okay, so this is not, this word needs to be put here. And not that he grew, but he was weaned, because at a certain point, the nursing was over, and this is why she brought him. And here, I would say that I could have put her name in here instead of just saying the king's daughter, but we don't have her name. So I'm going to use it as a blank, and it'll always be brought to her, or brought to whatever her name used to be. And they would have known that at that time. So not only did they remove the king of Egypt at this time, they removed his daughter's name as well. And she named him Moses. Then I had the word no in around would have been too, but I needed that this no is actually no one. And when he saw no one was around, um, then they had it as two separate words, so I'm connecting the words. No, they did not have it. I'm adding the word here. Um, let's see what did 12. Well, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to tell you. I added the word here. It reads better. And he asked them, like I said, they used the word said wrong so many times. The king commands. Moses will command. Our Creator will command. They didn't, they told, they asked, they replied. Anyways, changing those words are very important to get the text to read truthful. Striking, well, it's not, they weren't striking each other. They were fighting, more or less, probably arguing, wrestling. But the object is they were fighting over here, so I kept fighting over here. I guess I could have used, well, if I highlighted that yellow, it would say that I put that word in. But that I just carrying this word over to here. Um, and this is now being written as if they were saying it, kill us, because it would have been kill me. That would have been only one person they were wrestling, so there's two. Um, and when he said it, they would have both known what was going on anyway. So, um, not said, but thought. Yes, this is a big enough change. I should have went through and done more changing than I did of the yellow text. This is completely added. Um, this might have been the word then here. No, it would have been the. So, I'm adding this word completely. Not settled, but went to our land. Now here, this is Moses now fleeing. He fled. Now, the problem is people don't know where he really fled. You got to understand that Moses did not speak a lot of Hebrew. So where did he learn it? Now they say the text says he goes into um, was it today Saudi Arabia someplace. That's not true. There were nobody in there that were speaking Hebrew. So here is Edom's mount, okay, a mount for Edom. And this is where he went, and it wasn't a mountain where our Creator talked to him from a burning bush. It was from this area here. Now, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit and move it down. Okay, so you get an idea of the mileage here, or the miles. Now he's leaving from here. It was the text will call the capital city On, and then they'll call it Memphis, and I've changed it to Cairo, where it's located today. And he fled from here. Now, did he go this way and cross the rivers to get here, or did he walk all the way around down through here to get here? I believe that he had to go around this area to get up here. Now, there's going to be reasons why I'm going to use Edom as being the truth. So don't get all excited yet. I'll start showing you the text. Uh, when to went in the land. Okay, now here they're using the word this place Median as a city that he went to. I'm going to say it was a mount, okay, that he sat by the well. And I'll show you more later. This is not just it right here. I'm just pointing out that I'm changing the word median to mount. When I do it the first time, I should make it yellow. Now, he had 7 daughters. They come to the well. It wasn't water. It was to draw water. It was a well to fill the trough and give water to their father's herd. Now, could I use the word flock? Herd. Well, here they're using shepherds, but they were herders because you can be a herder. I want the word to be able to be the herder of goats or herder of sheep or rams. So the thing here is I'm going to use the word herd, and then we'll find out later whether they're rams or not. And wanted to drive them away. They're explaining to their father about Moses. Or no, not yet. And Moses stood up and stayed and drew the water, drew the water. Now here, when they went home, now here is their father's name, Reuel, and I didn't use it here, but I want to point it out here because they're actually going to change his name from this name to a different name real quick. So I'm going to show you that here his name is Raul, and I'm going to use that later. I don't like the name that they give him later. Um, and since I'm editing the text, I believe this is more correct than the other words. And he's talking about soon as fast. I don't think there needs to be much difference there. Home, I think when you read it, you'll understand when they came to their father. Well, when they were home, their father asked him. So um, I'm trying to make sure that when you read the text, that these places become a vivid imagination for you to understand the text and what's going on. They replied that an Egyptian helped them, so Moses was wearing Egyptian clothes, and not so much that they were going by his skin color. And the word even and even more, and what is more, I like the word even here. Let me take a look at that word, just because I think I did that up, and it was, oh, you got to see instead of watching my face over here. Um, okay, here's his name here. And it says father-in-law, okay? And also an Edomite. Okay, boy, was that really good here. Okay, now there is the proof I was um, trying to explain to you that this is another proof that he didn't go to Egypt. Okay, that he was an Edomite. Well, he was actually Edom's or Esau's descendant. Okay, and they lived by this mount. All right, so that is very important. Um, I should take a screenshot of that and use that later when I'm talking to people. But let's get back to the text here. And, well, what is more? Yeah. I'm just trying to look at the text on the board and see how come I'm adding that word. Oh, okay. Um, here's the confusion here, but let me just see here. Indeed, well, they didn't use it as the word even. Yes, they did right here. 123 times. So sometimes when I'm replacing these words that you see here, they are not using the same words, or they could have used. Okay, and even more. And then see how I replace the word even here? I'm pretty sure that's why I highlighted this word, because when I was editing, I do try to seek help from the text or from Strong's, uh, because you see how many times they used it, and then they didn't use it. So let's see how many, because I know there's a Hebrew word for what. But anyways, um, even more, and give water to your flock. Here now I'm using the word flock. I should be changing that to herd. So I guess I need to. I know I need more editing here. So, and I know there's going to be more editing as I go forward, and forward. Usually I'll find them later as well and correct them. But so I missed that. And he didn't say to his daughters. He asked them. Then where is he? Then where is he then? Um, invite him to eat, and he lived with the man. See, now they don't know his first name, or they don't know his name. So I put his name here. Now, down here, you can see that the son's name is supposed to be this name here. That's not going to be true. You're gonna find out that Joshua replaced Moses. There's no story of why um, that says why Joshua was picked by our Creator. But we know that the lineage of the priest, they came from father to son, father to son. Moses was a judge as well as a leader. So it would have been his son that would have been replacing him. So I'm going to use uh, his name as Joshua. Okay, that's when you find out when I changed it right off the bat because this name is not the correct name. Uh, and when he died, they were all happy, not sighed. They didn't just, oh, he's gone. They were joyful that he had died. He was killing their children or their sons. Now, does that mean that all of a sudden the next king did not kill their sons? Well, that's important to know because um, Moses, if he was young when he left, he could have only been 15 to 18 when he killed the Egyptian. So he took off. Now, if it says he comes back at 80, that doesn't make sense for the simple fact that when they go to war, our Creator assigns those from, I think, the age of like uh, 20 and up are to up to 50 are supposed to battle or to fight in the war. Well, if Moses doesn't come back times 80, then there would have been no uh, males that age. So you have to understand the timelines of what makes sense and what does not make sense when you know all the stories. It just doesn't make sense. Okay. And here I just quickly looked. I'm still using the word flock here, so maybe I better go change the word herd. Um, but the thing here is to understand that they were happy. They just didn't sigh. And I think that this new king didn't, because Moses being gone, he's only going to be gone for a few years when he comes back. He's going to be very young when he comes back. Also, I'm going to mention right now that he did not know how to speak Hebrew. He was learning how to speak Hebrew, but he was not really good at speaking the language at that time. Remember, he was raised in an Egyptian palace. They would have not used Hebrew there. They would have had translators to talk to him. So the thing here is um, the storyline going forward is that Moses uh, went when he was young. went to the mount, learned some Hebrew, but not all Hebrew, and then he's going to be sent back. And this is now going to be the story. And like you know, I've changed the word covenant to promise because they are promises. Together, all of them could become a covenant. But the thing here is I've changed the word promise going forward all the way through the text, because it's easier to understand that he is adding from promise to promise to promise. And once you understand all these promises, you understand the reason why people are allowed to go into heaven. Because without his promises, there is no wording of why people will enter into heaven. And our Creator would not have used the word or name Jacob. He changed his name to Israel. So a lot of times I'm going to be changing, our Creator will be talking about Jacob. He is no longer Jacob. They understand that. Okay. That's why they know they are Israelis. And Israelis are the good people so far. Okay. Here it is. Here's Jethro. Now they changed his name within one chapter. Okay. And then they got him as the priest of Midian. Now, I just showed you Strong when he was going through editing. And this, by the way, this is also New American Standard, the way they translated from Strong. They used it, they kept it. So this is a complete lie here, okay? And it was Raul, his father, by law. Now, why am I using the word by law? Because he's living under his roof. Once he's under his roof, then he's his father by law, or his father by law. Most of the time, it's the women that live under the male's lineage, and they become the daughter by law to them. So you have to understand it's not an in-law, it's by law, and understand the differences, who they're living under or next to in their life. So he was his father by law in the marriage, and then living with him. And see, now I'm adding Edoms here, and you've seen why, some of the reasons why. But it wouldn't have been on the west side, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure this was more toward the south side. And why would I say that? Because when you're traveling and you see the map of trying to understand how people would travel, they have to come down from the mount, and they would have took the easiest path. They wouldn't have gone through the forest to do something like that. So thinking they come down, or it was more desert area as they come down and come through here. And I don't understand why my voice is giving up. I haven't talked that long yet. And he called to Moses, not that he appeared to him, he called to him. Otherwise, he would have understood who he was, or at least like who was he, and not this blazing bush. So why be called to him, not appeared, but he called to him. So you need to be truthful. The more truth you speak, and the correct way you speak of using words is very important. So I think I mentioned before, our Creator defined the word man as male and female, and yet Christians today use the secular word for man. So let's straighten up the language and understand, if you believe our Creator exists, then you should be believing and using his words and how his words he has defined for us. Okay, here I'm using two words only as your creator because the importance of the way this verse is being said, this becomes like the main word in this, using these two words. So I'm using the word your as the second word. It should have been like that. Just like I added that as, no, that would not been, it would have been the word Lord, and I've already changed. When they're all capital letters, I've already changed those words. I'm getting close to my 40-minute limit here. I've seen their affliction, but it's actually pain. 37, let's see if I can get to it quick enough here. This is chapter 3, and it's verse 7, so close, so far away as well. Let's see, where am I wanted to know. So, affliction, misery, pain. So they used it as once, but I'm using it as well. And I guess I can actually change this one to green. Aware to know. Let's take a look. Aware. Let's see if I can. No, 535 times. So yet they use the word aware only how many times? 6 times. And that's the problem we have, that they know the word is leaning more times when they're doing the editing to translate it, that it should have been know they're suffering, not aware, but know they're suffering. To deliver is to take. I guess that, yeah, I can do one more here. Take away, took many times down here. So I guess I didn't have to use that word as well. I could have made that one green. But when I went through and I started coloring them, I think I just picked one too many at that time. Bring is to lead. Anyways, I'm not going to go back and check all of them. But anyways, place to land. And we're talking about Canaan's land, not Canaanite. They weren't known as Canaanites. The land would have been for Canaan. That should maybe even be an S here. And I think I've got to change the way this is spelled. IANS. I have to check on that later. And then the descendants from Israel, not of Israel, but from the, and it's not going to be this will be the sign, but my plagues will be signs, because we know that there's going to be many of them. So I have to add the S here. And that's why we're use the word plagues, because I know the story and our creator knew what was going to go on. So here I have YV saying, YV said, and this is the best word at this time. He didn't command this word, but here the word said is being used correctly, finally. Okay, I'm going to stop here because it's very interesting what's going on here in the next story. So I will end it here and then begin from right here